If you're like me, then you've certainly stayed up late one night envisioning all the habits you're going to put into place the next day, excited to finally change your life, only to wake up and realize that nothing has changed. You're either too tired from staying up too late the night before thinking about all the things that you were going to accomplish, or you simply realize that there's a lot of things to do and it's overwhelming. So you decide to throw in the towel, hoping that another day you'll make the progress that you've always wanted. I find that when I have a bunch of habits that I want to build, there are so many things that require a lot of time and attention. So usually what happens is if I try to build 3 habits at once, say what I've done in the past, which is journaling, reading, and running every day, usually I end up getting way too stressed out, trying to focus on each thing and give enough attention to actually follow through. And I become overwhelmed. And so I inevitably just quit. I fail and I feel horrible all over again. So what I recommend is if you're just starting or just struggling with trying to start building habits or, work on your passion project or something that is important to you, maybe it's starting a business, creating a YouTube video, or whatever it is that you would like to do, I would recommend focusing on just that one habit at a time. Don't try to do a bunch of things at once because you'll eventually just get overwhelmed and you'll want to quit. Whether you are trying to implement a new workout regimen, such as starting to run regularly, or simply just trying to keep up with day-to-day tasks, there are simple and efficient ways to make the process a lot easier. Start out by writing a list of habits that you think would be beneficial to your life. Think about your goals, short-term and long-term, and come up with habits that will push you towards them. Once you know which habit or habits you would like to work on, break them down into even smaller actions. You want to make them as easy as possible. For example, when I was trying to journal every day a few years back, what I did was I asked myself to only write 1 sentence a day. I knew that by doing this, I was way more likely to actually follow through than if I had asked myself to write 1 or 2 pages. Because although that seems easy in practice, and it's really not that much writing, at times, especially when you're overwhelmed and you find it hard to do much of anything, writing that much can be very daunting. And so I decided that it would be much easier for me to start with something very simple, such as writing just 1 sentence. Usually I ended up writing more than I initially anticipated. I find that it's much easier to just start and get the ball rolling than trying to do too much at once. If you're anything like me, you have a jumbled index of things and habits that you want to accomplish, but the lack of clarity and concrete planning can make it almost impossible. This is especially true if you feel like you're starting from square one and you're having trouble implementing any habits at all. One of my favorite quotes about habits and goal setting is from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. He states that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems, meaning that a goal with no clear path is unlikely to be fulfilled. By creating a roadmap, you are effectively making the process a whole lot easier. Additionally, by creating an outline, you can evaluate where you're at in the process, whether you're asking too much of yourself or too little, because sometimes when you start working towards a habit or a goal, you're able to actually do more than you think, and other times you're asking too much of yourself. What I've done is taken a habit that I wanted to implement and created an easy to follow routine. The most straightforward method that has worked for me is the weekly habit tracker. Like any other tracker, it involves writing down the habit and placing a check mark next to it for each day of the week that it's completed. If you want to build a routine that requires multiple habits, you can create a simple process for yourself called habit stacking. This involves stacking habits sequentially in order in which finishing one habit is a cue for starting the next. For example, I have a morning routine that I based off of a podcast that I've been listening to lately called The Huberman Lab. And for me, I modified it so that when I wake up, the first thing I do is drink 16 ounces of water. Usually I take my creatine when I do this and any other supplements and vitamins that I need for the day. And then I make my bed, and after I make my bed, I know that that's my cue to go step outside and get some sunlight. With that being said, the reason I find habit stacking to be a valuable method to use is because it is truly much easier to implement a new action following one that you are already accustomed to doing. I believe that tracking your progress and holding yourself accountable is the most important tip of all. In order for you to make changes in your life, you have to have clear benchmarks that you're hitting in order to know that you're actually making progress. However, if you follow the tips in this video and make the process as easy as possible, holding yourself accountable will come naturally. By checking off your habits each day, you are holding yourself accountable and creating a positive feedback loop. I find that the positive feedback loop reinforces the progress that you've already made and strongly encourages you to keep going. Something about seeing a bunch of consistent check marks lights a fire within you that sparks more forward momentum. In the end, all we want is to continue improving our lives and become the person that we've always wanted to be. The truth is, the process will always be ongoing, and it will never necessarily be easy. Try and implement new methods and see what works for you. When you fail and you feel like all hope is lost, just don't give up. Be honest with yourself about your shortcomings, but also make sure to give yourself credit where it is due. Each small action that we take is a step closer towards achieving our goals. From the words of James Clear, each action that we take is a vote for the person that we want to become. Anyways, stay happy, stay healthy, and continue working towards your goals. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.